Welcome back to CBS This Morning. I wanted a good Miami throwback to start the day. Florida is experiencing a big influx of new residents in the wake of the pandemic. The Miami area has seen a 15% increase in tech professionals. It has welcomed more IT and software workers in the last year than anywhere else in the country. By contrast, New York City lost 18% of its tech workforce, and the Bay Area lost nearly 35%. We recently spoke with Miami Mayor Francis Suarez, the 43-year-old who's in his first term, told us it's his personal mission to transform Miami into the next great tech capital.
People often counterbrand Miami. They'll say, well, Miami is just a hospitality town, or it's just a retirement place, or this is just a moment in time. And for me, this is a movement.
Thank you all for coming here today.
Mayor Francis Suarez is a Miami-born Republican and Cuban-American with an appreciation for traditional cafecito.
Cafecito 305.
And he's waging a guerrilla-style marketing campaign, trying to lure entrepreneurs to Miami with the goal of turning Paradise City into tech's new frontier. That invitation to come to Miami first came in the form of a tweet.
It did. I got about 2.7 million impressions. It was a tweet from Delian from the Founders Fund who said, hey guys, what if we move Silicon Valley to Miami? And I tweeted out, they call it the tweet heard around the world, 4 simple words: how can I help?
That tweet and others by a leading Silicon Valley venture capitalist helped inspire entrepreneurs to flock to Miami for an impromptu tech week earlier this spring. Mayor Suarez embraced the moment by launching his Cafecito Tech Talks and hosting business leaders in town hall-style conversations.
We have very little homeless in comparison with major cities, very little crime in comparison with major cities.
When you say, I want to build the city of the future, how would something like that look like?
Look, I have 2 children. Technology is here to stay. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, it's not a partisan issue. And so for me, as you think about how do you create high-paying jobs which have a generational impact, you have to attract the people that create these companies.
People like Jason Richmond, who relocated from New York to Miami during the pandemic.
I've seen a growing sort of ecosystem of talent pools coming here to Miami over the last couple of months.
Richmond works at SafeGraph, a data company that provided information to scientists, local governments, and even the CDC to aid in the pandemic response.
Trying to figure out where can I go somewhere warm with low taxes, healthy lifestyle, and this was the natural choice.
Have you found the conditions for your company to thrive in this environment?
Yeah, so I came down here to eventually build out an office for the team. But I think that what the pandemic has proven is that with the sort of acceleration of digital transformation, you could really work from anywhere, right?
But not everyone is as optimistic about Miami's future.
When forests burn, carbon is released.
Journalist David Wallace Wells, author of The Uninhabitable Earth, warns that the fate of this futurist paradise could be largely underwater.
Of all the cities in the U.S., Miami may be the most dramatic illustration of at least the crisis of sea level rise. You've already started to see the Army Corps of Engineers developing a series of plans to protect major American cities from sea level rise. And their plan for Miami includes seawalls on the mainland. It does not even attempt to protect any of Miami Beach or the rest of the archipelago, which is essentially an acknowledgement from the Army Corps of Engineers that that land is practically speaking lost. Miami will still be there in 2050, but it will be dealing with so much more climate struggle than we have today.
We're one of the few cities probably in the world that's spending hundreds of billions of dollars to make sure that Miami is as water resilient as any city on the planet.
As a resident of Miami myself, there are days where we don't have a drop of rain and still we have flooded streets because of high tide. Climate change seems to be a yes, urgent matter, but also a long-term challenge. Yeah. How do you balance those two?
Well, first of all, I have a great incentive to think long-term in my 2 children. But there have been multiple climatic phenomena. So we know what the challenges are. We're not putting our head in the sand pretending like they don't exist.
Mayor Suarez says he's also working to ensure that any technological boom benefits everyone, especially since Miami has a higher poverty rate than the national average.
It's something we're very intentional about. That's why we say that we don't just want a Miami that's here forever. We want a Miami that's here for everyone. We're a community of immigrants. This is very natural for us to invite people from outside. And when they're coming here, not just to buy property, but to build jobs, which builds careers, which has a generational impact on families, that for me is what makes it truly gratifying.
And to make sure nobody gets left behind, the city is providing underserved students with free high-speed internet access for 2 years, and it's also working with programs to train adults so they have the skills necessary for the modern economy. Gayle, Anthony, and I think it's interesting. The mayor is a rising star in politics in Florida, so a different kind of Republican than what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, you can really feel his enthusiasm for what he wants to happen in the city. But when I think about Florida, I go to Miami sometimes for a long weekend because it seems very fast to me.
It is. I mean,
very fast.
We'll see if this holds. If this is a movement, not just a moment like this.
It's very interesting transformation he's in the middle of. The challenges ahead, though, are clearly pretty dramatic.
Yeah, but it could change how we think of Miami.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing about Florida, the taxes. Everybody loves the lack of taxes in Florida.
We're seeing that. People from New York and California moving to Florida.
That is very attractive.